How do you know whether you've got a spirit guide? Now, that's a question I get asked a lot because people don't really know what they're looking for. Unless your guide is going to materialize right by your side, how the hell do you know that you've got one? So, the first thing I need to tell you is that everybody has guides. They've got their main guide that you are born with and you will die with. They are there for the duration. They totally signed up to be with you. I know that sounds crazy, and mine are probably in therapy, but they signed up. They knew what they were getting into. They knew who they were going to be working with. So, your guides chose you, you chose them, you agreed to each other. Okay. Then we have different guides for different purposes. So I would have one for my mediumship, one for my tarot, one for my Akashic Records work, another one for teaching, another one for doing Reiki, and another one for healing, and so on. Now, those guides can change, and for me, they have changed a lot over the years. So this is why you need to get to know your main guide first, because you're going to be more comfortable with someone that's not going to suddenly disappear on you, okay? So let's talk about how you can tell if you've got a guide, okay? So the first one that's very common is just not really feeling alone. Now, especially when you're a child, you might have imaginary friends or talk to someone that's in the room and you're the only one that knows they're there, okay? But they feel comfortable. They don't feel threatening and you don't feel alone, so they feel quite comforting, okay? Now, if you're anything like me, that's a long time ago now, being a child. So that might be something that you're not 100% sure on. So another way is that you're going to be drawn to the kind of cultures that your guide will have come from. So they're quite often, in fact, they are most often from highly evolved civilizations. So the Egyptians, ancient Chinese, the Mayan, Native American Indian, that kind of thing, okay? So are you drawn to those cultures, those foods, those countries just to go and visit there? So for instance, I've got an Egyptian guide. I've always been really fixated on Egypt ever since I can remember. I just love everything about ancient Egypt. I'm not so bothered about modern Egypt, okay? I did have a guide change when I started doing this full time, and I suddenly started buying Buddhist iconry. You can see the picture behind me, and I've got some other bits and pieces. And I didn't know why, because I'm not religious in any shape or form, and I don't particularly have any leanings to Buddhism, and I only like the skinny Buddha, not the fat laughing Buddha, okay? So it took me a while to work out what was going on there, and then it turned out that I'd got a guide who was a Buddhist monk who was Tibetan, and so that totally fit with the things that I was being drawn to and suddenly wanted to buy and know about and everything else. So they're surefire signs. Now, your guides communicate with you all the time. Initially, it can be really obvious. So you might find that you're being hit around the face with a wet fish and you can't miss it. But then it can become much more subtle when they think that you've got that they're there. So it can change. But they do communicate all the time. I think the biggest problem is that we're looking for major things like really stand out, and actually it's everyday stuff, but consistently. So you might keep seeing repeating numbers, or you might keep coming across peacocks or whatever it might be. And that is them trying to talk to you, okay? They'll also use your intuition. Now, our society really values logic. So we're not really trained to be intuitive as much as we should be, because it's a major part of us. But they will talk to us intuitively. So if you're incredibly intuitive, then you'll probably be aware of them talking to you that way. If you're incredibly left brain logical and everything has to be scientific and factual and everything else, probably not so much. It's still going on, but you're just not getting it because your radar is tuned to logic, okay? So what the next step is really is, how do you meet those guides? How do you connect with those guides? How do you get to see them, feel them, know them, build that relationship? Join me in video 2, where we will look at how to meet your guides. If you would like it, I have a free guide. It's a 10 top tips of working with your spirit guides. It's completely free, and it's based on all the experiences that I've had over the years, as well as my students, because we're all on different paths. So I will put the link to that in the notes below, and you can come and get a copy of that, and that will help you on your journey. So I'll see you in video 2.